welcome to another episode of Authentically Divine Listeners Edition. I'm your host, Alyssa Davis, and I am blessed to see another episode come out and stream to you guys. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Again, as always, if you are new here, I am just so grateful for you to have joined this episode specifically. And I'd love for you to check out all my other episodes. I stream and post these every Wednesday on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And I started this podcast with the intent to inspire you to be the most authentic version of yourself in the divine way that God created you to be. And I want to empower you to be the most authentic version, meaning being the strongest, being the boldest, being the happiest, and most yourself that you can be as God created you to be. So thank you so much for tuning in. This week's episode is going to be about how to find inspiration. And I'm going to deep dive a little bit into this episode on ways to find creativity, on ways to open up and expand your mind to be creative, and just kind of go into where I found the creativity myself and just some tips and tricks. This is a listener's edition episode, so it's not going to be a long one. This will be perfect for you to be driving to work, coming home from work, popping this in and listening to it while you're listening on your lunch or a workout, something just quick as a way to encourage you and a way to strengthen you and empower you, again, to be the most authentic version of yourself. Just a little check-in. This week has been Memorial Day weekend, so I got to enjoy a nice long weekend. Thank you to all those who have sacrificed and laid down their lives for others, because that's what Memorial Day weekend is really all about. It's a great time to have time with or spend time with family and reflect on everything and enjoy others' company. But we also need to recognize that the most ultimate sacrifice that you can do is lay your life down for someone else. And now I'm taking that moment in and allowing others to feel that as well. It's truly amazing to have people lay down their lives for others. And it really is the ultimate sacrifice. And Jesus did that for all of us. So we are very grateful for those that were doing that for us and allowing us to have that long weekend to break. But that's what came after their sacrifice. So a moment of silence for those that did sacrifice their lives for us, and for family members, and for those that we know personally and those that we don't know personally. We just want to take a moment to honor their lives. And this is a great time for me to be speaking on finding inspiration, because let me just deep dive into how I even found a way to be creative. I always grew up thinking I wasn't creative at all. And I forgot and didn't realize that creativity doesn't have to be that you're drawing something. Creativity doesn't have to be the arts in the way that you're in art class and you're creating like a sculpture or a statue or something like a drawing. I was not that good at creating something randomly and starting to be able to draw it or starting to be able to put it down on a piece of paper. Creativity is a wide scale of different things. And I want to go into that every single person is creative. I walked around this earth for like 25 years saying that I wasn't creative, not realizing I was creating things. I was emulsifying things. I was putting things out there that were creative. It just isn't the way that creativity in the arts is normally viewed as. So let's dive into it. Thank you for being an authentically divine listener. If you haven't already, liked, subscribed, commented. I am on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. I'd love to have you be a part of this community with me. Shout out to those that already have established themselves as a part of this community. I'm very blessed and very grateful. So let's go into it. Let's go back to the beginning of time, the first book of Moses, called Genesis in the Bible, the first sentence in the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Mic drop right there, first of all. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. We come from a creator that created heaven and earth. It goes on to say in the book of Genesis, as if that wasn't enough. God created light. God created the firmament. God separated earth from waters. He created the sun, the moon, the stars, fish, fowl, beasts, cattle. He created the man in the image of God himself. He created food, the garden. He created everything. When we say created, he formed us as humans. We are all created in the image of God, the way that he wanted us to be, individualized. We were created, our creator. We, oftentimes we as Christians are saying, our creator, we worship the creator. What does that mean? He created everything that we see that is tangible and intangible. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Like, we say that as though it's just this minuscule thing. Everything that we see that is walking on this earth, breathing on this earth, that has a color, light, darkness, everything that was on this earth and is on this earth was created by God. So we are created, meaning we also are created in the image of God. We create as well. Every single person, maybe this is news and revelation to you, but you create things as well. Every day you create something. Now, it may not be something you're passionate about, but we create every single day. And this episode is about where you find inspiration to know that you are creative. Let me go back to how I said that I didn't know I was creative. Want to know how I started to find out? I started listening to podcasts about creativity. And oftentimes, if we don't have creativity in our lives, we feel bored. I want to say that. I used to fill my time with getting drunk, getting high, going on like pre-workout and going to the gym and just reaching a high in that way. Whereas creativity can unlock a joy and type of adrenaline because you get excited about it. That those types of things vices cannot fill. Creativity is spending time with yourself and God, because God created you to create. When you sit and spend time with God and know that you can create something out of nothing, the ways to find your creativity speaks directly to you. One thing that I found was really helpful was listening to Robert Greene, his podcast with Andrew Huberman on creativity and finding your purpose. He references going back to when you were a child. What did you enjoy doing? What were the things you were passionate about? Because children are so creative. The world isn't pressuring them not to be. The world isn't pressuring them to sit in a cubicle and work 80 hours a week and be boring and to not have a life outside of corporate America. When you're a child, those things that you enjoyed actually correlate to your identity as an adult. Let me go into the details here. Robert Greene said, what you enjoyed as a child is your purpose in the future. So for me, when I was younger, I loved talking to people. I loved socializing with people, speaking to people, making people be comfortable and allowing them to be seen and inviting people to be in groups and just always looking to help others. Now, that is something that went away in my mind for years because of, bullying and the world trying to make you fit a certain mold. It took me into my adulthood when my adult brain started to form at age 25 is when things really started to click. And my relationship with God unlocked that opportunity for me to be able to sit with myself and look back at the things that I enjoyed as a child that brought me so much joy. So, one way, if you are looking to unlock your purpose, your creativity, find something that makes you excited, that allows you opportunity to have time to spend in that project. Look at what you liked or look at the things you enjoyed when you were younger. For some people, it may be that you played video games all the time and you created like on Minecraft. You created towns and villages. That's creativity right there. When you're looking at a child that's building these immaculate cities and towns, that's creativity to the max. That's literally like someone that could be a builder, someone that could be a contractor, someone that could be any of those types of things in the home building business or electrician, and those types of things. That avenue that could stem from being so creative that they end up doing that into adulthood. Those are key points in someone's life. Someone, when they were younger, loved playing dress up, and they would put all these different pieces of clothing together, cut fabrics. I volunteer at the YMCA for my work, and there was this one girl that was so creative in creating like outfits. She created an outfit for me and took like a million different pieces of fabric, glued things together, did all these amazing things. Her passion is fashion. She's going to be one of those people that creates in the way of clothing and fashion brand and doing something along those lines. I used to take pictures as a kid of everything, and I love taking pictures. I got a professional camera this summer. I love taking pictures, and I was using it. It doesn't have to be that everything that you have that's creative is profitable, but it's something that speaks to you directly. Someone could be that they loved and enjoyed making food with their grandmother when they were younger, or they loved and enjoyed making food with their dad when they were younger. That was their love language. They spent time together and spoke into each other and spent so much time creating these types of things with one another. And that person ends up being a chef. Look at all of the origin stories of chefs. They were like, well, it was in my blood. My grandmother taught me this. It's always a part of someone as a child. Now, I'm not saying that you can't start something new. You are always able to start something new. But oftentimes, the way that you grew up, the things that you enjoyed as a child are actually true to your identity because you were so childlike, so able to just see the joy of life that you were so free to choose different passion projects, things that made you happy. And that's exactly what it is. Or if you look at what did you excel at when you were in school, when you didn't have to try? Were you great at history? Were you great at the arts? Like creating a project like on paper, the way that I said I couldn't do. Were you great at playing the flute or playing the saxophone when you were in school and you didn't even have to try? Those types of things. It's like, do that as an adult in your free time instead of going and running to vices. Put your heart and soul into something creative, and you're going to find that life becomes so much better. You're going to feel fulfilled. And maybe that didn't really work for you. Maybe you really can't remember what you were doing as a child and you're like, still like creativity, whatever. You know what you can do? For me to find inspiration, especially in areas that, for me, starting a Christian podcast, and I became a very vocal and bold Christian right off the rip. When I found Jesus, I wanted everyone to know, and I still want everyone to know. I'm still in the process of getting to know him, and for life, I will be proclaiming how much I love him. With that being said, I didn't really know anyone in my area that was doing that. I didn't really know anyone in my area doing a Christian podcast. You know what I started to do? Find Christian podcasts. Listen to the topics that they're discussing. Listen to those types of people. The way that they have stature, the way that they create is vocal. It doesn't have to be that you're just writing down on pieces of paper or drawing. People create in ways that it almost is like it leaves you speechless when you hear someone creating a song or creating, just replicating a song, but they're singing to it. Those are creative ventures that people don't think of as creative, but your favorite rap artist is creating music. And whether he has ghostwriters or not, it's putting out there. He's using his voice, he's singing, she, whatever it may be. Your favorite book, that's creative too. That is someone writing a book. Writing does not take like 2 days. It's a thing that most people work on for years before they have one book come out. Creativity can look like journaling. Creativity can look like, it's basically open-ended, but the world does not want you to know that creativity is what unlocks this comfortability in yourself. And even the most worked person that sits in a gray cubicle with no sunlight, is creative. We have to start finding ways to inspire ourselves. And if you don't know anyone, like how I didn't know anyone that had a Christian podcast in my area of Buffalo, New York, you know what you do? You follow and curate your social media. You follow and curate your day-to-day with looking at people that inspire you to be the person that you want to be. Now, if you don't know anyone personally, the world is at our fingertips. We can use it to our advantage. When you look at someone that you want to be like, that is in your position, let's say a Christian podcast person that's been doing it for years, they're well established, that was my inspiration. I would watch, what are they using for equipment? How are they putting episodes out? How is this looking as opposed to another person's, you know, or going on YouTube, how to da 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 da, how to build a table, how to make a cake, how to use sourdough starter, how to create a song on CapCut, how to do this, how to do that. We have the opportunity to look and find ways to be creative and inspired every day. And it goes back to consuming and creating. If you are consuming more than you are creating, your brain will just start to feel depleted, not only because of the fact that your hormones your dopamine is being depleted, but the fact that creativity creates dopamine in your life. Creativity gives you inspiration for other areas of your life. And also, let's say I'm baking a cake. There's so much gratitude that comes with that. You look at your project at the end of it and you feel so good that you just accomplished something and it was for yourself or for others, whatever it may be. Being creative with makeup, doing all these things to find inspiration is to truly use your resources. Social media can be used as a tool to level yourself up to being the version that you want to be. I used to follow a lot of health related things when I was really not understanding how to eat well, how to deal with the symptoms of my stomach issues. I started to follow things, and that's all I saw. So I got the gist. And you know what? And then my next aspect was, now I'm a Christian. Now I found Jesus. Now I really want to understand how to live this life out. And I want to have good things be spoken into and have this creative guide for me. So, of course, reading the Bible and then using my resources of social media to curate an understanding of the life that I want to live. If I am looking to be a Christian, I'm not looking to follow accounts that are taking me away from that, i.e., rappers that are saying the F word every 5 seconds, men and women in Sports Illustrated. Like, I'm not looking to be distracted on social media or trying to have lust be thrown into my face. What I want is Bible scripture. What I want is to find things that are speaking life into me and inspiring me to use my voice, because I am a person that loves podcasting. For you, baking a cake, you're probably seeing a lot of things be popped up on your feed for creating and baking or being a chef. Use your social media to your advantage. And yes, I know now it curates to you, but it also throws in things that you don't want to see. On Instagram, you can use the following page. So if you create your own page, if you create a cooking page or create something that allows you to just see cooking, following only cooking accounts on TikTok, like literally, it can fill your brain up with all the stuff that you want to do and be inspired by. And you won't even remember that there's a whole other side of the world of people doing the complete opposite that doesn't inspire you. And yes, we use social media connecting to people and connecting to friends, but in the reality of inspiration, going back and finding what you enjoyed as a child, your purpose and how you were creative as a child, and then also simultaneously either reading books or listening to podcasts that speak about the things you're interested in, or going on YouTube and typing how-tos, or following accounts that are specific to the niche that you enjoy, you're going to feel a sense of community that wasn't there when your feed was being created for you. What that means is you are in control of what you see and what you do on social media. You are in control of what you do and what you see outside of your 9 to 5. If you really, truly want to find a purposeful life, creativity has to be a part of your day to day. And I'm not saying you need to go and sit down with a pen and paper and sit in silence. I'm saying what speaks to you in the realm of creativity is specifically for you to do every day. And no, I'm not podcasting every single day. I'm speaking to my friends. I'm speaking to my family. I'm speaking to my boyfriend with all the things that I love and enjoy. And that is creative for me. Let me recap. Creativity is a true aspect of your life. And if you have walked around on this earth feeling as though creativity was so far gone from you and you're just consuming, I'm here to wake you up and shake you up and tell you otherwise, because a lot of the things that I say are things no one ever told me. It never absorbed my brain. I didn't listen to podcasts or listen to someone be inspiring in the way that it's to shake up your world. I want to shake up your world with these episodes and make you think differently than the way that everyone else does. I don't want to be a part of the norm. I want to be different, and I want you to know it's okay to think differently, to speak differently, to be different than other people, because that is the way you can find your creativity, your purpose, your divine reason why God created you. He created. You are a creation of the Creator, meaning, and you are made in the image of God, meaning you are to create as well. There's power in that. There's freedom in that. Start small. Find what speaks to you. Find little things that speak to you and give you life, give you joy, and do it after that 9 to 5, because you are not in a prison of that 9 to 5. That 9 to 5 does not define you. What defines you is what God says about you, and you are created in His image, and you are made perfect. And He knew you before you were even knit in the womb. Therefore, you have the ability to create, and that will bring you closer to Him. And I pray that this message reached your heart. I love you. I can't wait to hear about your creative ventures, but please like, subscribe, comment, send to a friend. I am here to hear about how you feel about this episode. But thank you for joining in to another listener's edition. My name's Alyssa. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week.